Matchmaker. Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's Millionaire Matchmaker. Amber. Amber. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's Millionaire Matchmaker. Amber. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's Millionaire Matchmaker. Amber. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's Millionaire Matchmaker. Amber.
No, I love Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, when I saw Raw, that right there made me want to become a comedian.
Yeah.
Just
something like maybe Coming to America, Boomerang, something like that.
That's so funny. I just showed my son Boomerang the other night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you ever seen Boomerang? And he was like, no, I'm like, dude, you got to see Eddie and Martin and David, all those comedians when they were in their prime.
I agree. I can sit down and watch those movies like it's the first time. And it's been
Five Heartbeats. I love that one too. Yep. Okay, so tell us about your dream car, because a lot of women judge a man by like what kind of car he drives. So what kind of car do you really want to have?
All glory goes to God, but I'm actually driving it.
You are? Are you serious?
Yeah, the Tesla.
You got the Tesla.
Yeah.
Woo.
And my next one, I'm working on getting that one as well. It's going to be a Porsche 911 Turbo convertible.
Okay. Nice. I cannot wait to hear your backstory, because this, I know when you talk about where you've come from to where you are now, you are truly a walking testimony, and you have so many great things to share. And especially right now with the quarantine, it's easy to get depressed or discouraged, and people are kind of like, how do I get through this? Mm-hmm. A lot of people are having to reinvent themselves right now. Right. So definitely can't wait to share a little bit more of your backstory. We're just trying to dig in and get the 411 on all the things that you like. Okay, so how old is your dad?
64.
64? Were your parents young when they had you, or older? My parents were almost 30.
My mother had me at 23.
23? Yeah, I had my daughter at 21. And you think you're so grown at 21. And now my daughter is 24, and you're like, oh, wow, I was really young when I had you. You don't realize it until they become your age. Mm-hmm. Now these are funny, okay, you guys? So y'all know I'm a comedian. I gotta have something. I'm gonna say all the ladies want to know, what's your shoe size?
So I've been wearing 14 since I was 14.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. My daughter is 5'9", and she outgrew me by like 9th grade. I remember when she was giving me her shoes. I'm like, pass them on down to mama. That's right. But save some money.
You got a tall daughter though, 5'9".
She's super tall. Her dad was 6'5".
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, she's really, really tall, really beautiful.
Wow.
It's so funny. Some of the guys that were up here in the studio yesterday were like kind of drooling on her, but I hadn't told her yet. Okay, so what is your biggest pet peeve? Like, what is the number one thing that...
In terms of relationships?
Because I feel like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if somebody, for me... If you lie to me, I don't care what kind of relationship it is, we're done. And there's no second chance.
So for me, and it comes out of me as soon as you ask the question. I made a post about it earlier today.
Okay.
For me, it's communication. People that don't communicate. Like the whole ghosting thing, I never understand it. I will never understand it.
I don't either.
Lack of communication. Like, just say how you feel. Say what's on your mind.
Right. You know? What is the point of that? Like,
I don't.
But that is the whole millennial. That's their whole cultural thing.
We're living in a society we don't know how to, and we don't want to communicate.
No feelings.
How many people will hang up the phone and send a text?
That's right.
Because they don't want to converse.
That's right.
And we don't know how to converse.
That's right.
So it's all text, it's all social media, and I hate it, honestly, to some degree.
No, I do too. I think texting is great for certain things, but the people that are super passive aggressive.
No, it has its place. It has its place, but it shouldn't be for every conversation. It's really not.
I've seen $1 million deals done over text. Like, no, for real. Like, people will literally shoot the deal, shoot the contract, and it's like, wow, this is... but that's the thing. I've seen but that's the whole millennial culture is it's about me not catching feelings, having my side pieces, doing what I want to do. Right. Look at me. It's all about me. That leaves no room for love.
But that's what I hate, because, and I made a post about this last week about how I'm stereotyped because I'm considered a millennial, but there are different mindsets of millennials based on where they were born, their past experiences, things like that. So I don't think like that.
You're like at the top end of, like, you're at the bottom of mine, and because I'm one above you, and then you're like at the top. You're like that border.
Exactly. I'm right there.
You have kind of like both. It's kind of like, okay, I enjoy both. But I think that's the frustrating part, is that, if you're really looking for love, you guys really got to hear this, because if you're looking for love, you have to understand that love is selfless. It is patient. It is kind. There's long suffering. That's a big word you guys really need to look up and look into, because Long suffering is something that you're going to go through some things. And the couples that don't have real love right now are the ones that are requesting to get divorced. The divorce request is doubled in the last, few weeks. People are stuck in quarantine and they're ready to leave.
Yeah.
And if you don't have love, you have to be able to go through long suffering with someone if you love them. It might not be a pandemic. It could be a sickness or a death in their family that they're mourning, or they lost their job or whatever the case may be. But if you have no empathy and it's really all about feeding your ego, you won't make it.
I agree with that statement.
But you can never fall in love if you're selfish. Because love is the opposite. And a lot of people wonder, that's the thing too with the culture now, jump in bed first, ask questions later. And that's really not going to build a solid foundation. And that's the crazy part, is that the ego, which is lust-based, looks like love. When you first meet, I have
a poem on that, actually.
I love them so much.
No,
Let's
right.
hear it.
You're put me on the spot.
Bring it on. Let's do it.
No, but I do have a poem on that.
Okay.
I have to say it for you sometime.
Oh, so he does this. Okay, maybe we can talk him into doing it later. But you do. Okay, now I want to hear it. Like, is it long? Because I want to hear it. Can we bribe you into?
I just don't. I don't mind doing it, but
Okay.
I haven't recited it so long. I don't want to forget the words.
Okay.
It's been a while.
We'll let you look at it on break and come back. Maybe and tell us later.
That'll work.
Let's do that. In order to fall in love, at the end of the day, you have to get out of the ego. The ego is the death of all relationships. And I think that in this selfish culture, it can be quite daunting to try to find love. Everybody's only thinking about themselves. And even women nowadays, I saw a study that said 86% of women surveyed admitted they have a plan B guy. Not that they would act on it or that they wouldn't. It's
the
just
fact that
he's there.
Right.
It's like, go ahead and mess up. Oh, leave the lid off the toothpaste one more time.
Get that toilet seat up one more time.
And now that women are in the workplace, cheating, the number one place people cheat and meet people is at work. So it's very easy. Back in the day, women didn't have as many options. They weren't in the workplace. But now that they are, and it's like women have kind of taken this attitude of like, if men can do it, so can we. And I challenge women not to become like the thing that you hate the most. So if you don't like it in a guy, you becoming like that, it's just going to have two toxic people. It's not going to be healthy. Two wrongs will never add up to a right, So I harp on that a little bit just to let you know, because this culture is so less base and selfish that if you do believe in love and you do want to find love, you cannot lead with your ego. So many people judge it by, like, you will attract so many of the wrong women by you driving that car. I can't even tell you. You already know. I'm sure you've met plenty of gold. You haven't met him?
No.
Like, well, go ahead and send them on so we can filter them.
Oh,
but seriously, because in this ego-based culture that we live in, it's all about what you drive, where you live. It's like status, right?
I believe it's like that, but I don't think, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't think it's not to the degree of, in Houston at least, as it is in other areas.
Shoot, you ain't been out much.
And again, I could be wrong, but I can only speak from my personal reference point. I mean, not in my circle. I mean, I know it's out there.
Right.
But I guess
Keyword.
I just haven't really attracted a lot of those individuals. I know that they exist. I hear about them. But I personally just don't attract that too much. And it could change. I don't know. But
I love that you're saying that, because that's something we're going to talk about is, toxic behavior and toxic people. Right. And it's true. You really have to go through a healing. When you come from a toxic relationship, you really need to evaluate yourself and find out, why did I attract that? What is it about them that I'm trying to rescue? Because deep down, you're going to get to the truth. It's really you that you're trying to rescue through anything external. Healing and self-love is, to me, the first step to finding those healthy relationships. And maybe you don't have anything to heal from. Maybe you had a perfect childhood and everything is great and life is wonderful or whatever, but no one's perfect. And I think that in those situations where you're not attracting that, we're going to talk about how energy is actually one of the number one things we're going to talk about when we do matchmaking. We look at energy so we can kind of determine that, because they say opposites attract, but it doesn't mean that they stay together. But you got to understand how to interpret that so that if you are into them, you know how to navigate those waters. Okay, so let's get back to just a couple more of these questions because we got a lot of things to talk to you about today.
Sure.
Okay, Andre. So now, so your biggest pet peeve, did you ever tell me what that was?
Yeah, communication.
Communication.
The lack of communication.
Lack of communication. Mm-hmm. Okay, what is your favorite family tradition, past or present?
For me, I guess it's just a gathering of coming together as a family.
Yeah.
You know, it's not so much of what we do, it's just coming together as a family.
Yeah.
My family, it's interesting though, because my family, when we get together, we don't really do a whole lot. It's really just being
spending time together.
Exactly. We don't do a whole lot, but the fact that we're actually together, we eat.
Right.
I have probably one of the best cooking families there is.
I don't know, mine's pretty good too.
But yeah, just the fact that we make time to come together as one,
yeah.
as a family, as a unit, and make sure that we're staying in contact. Even though we may not talk on a regular, consistent basis all the time, when we do get together, you can feel that there's love.
Absolutely, and that's the thing, and that's with the quarantine. That bless all the people that's lost loved ones through all this and going through hardships and suffering right now.
Right.
But one of the good things I do think has come out of it is there's been a shift in consciousness, and I think that people are becoming more aware of what really matters. The things that used to matter with the hustle. We've been so busy hustling. We don't have time to really stop and go, is this really what I want to do?
Right.
Is this really my passion? Am I really living my best life? Am I really able to be a servant leader? Am I really able to do those things that my heart's calling me? Or am I a slave to my wallet?
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So it's just, I think right now people are getting back to what you're talking about, just the basic way God made it with family and fellowship and love, togetherness, and just really, I think things that are really important are finally getting a chance to come back. This is like a pause. It's like a shift, I think, for a lot of people to really reevaluate their lives and really determine. A lot of people are birthing brand new businesses and brand new ideas out of this time right now. So I think it's one of those things where these are questions that we ask because we need to know what your core values are, what your belief system, especially when you say you want to have kids. You've got to be able to articulate, this is how I believe. This is how I want to raise my kids. This is the religion, the political beliefs, whatever influences you want to have on them. So if you find someone and it's just totally based on lust and you have nothing in common, and it might work for just the two of you, right? But when you start to have kids, you need to know how we're raising our kids before we deal with any kind of problems. Okay, so here's the next question. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
It's hard for me to say right now because there's some places that I have in mind that I haven't yet visited that I would like to.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Houston for right now because it's what I know.
Yeah.
I don't mind living. But I do have some places in mind that I'm hearing a lot about and research about that I'm very intrigued about. One of them being Belize. I'm intrigued about Belize.
Who isn't?
Yeah. Another one I'm intrigued about. There's a new city, Akon City.
Okay.
That he's building as of right now.
I heard about that.
I'm intrigued about that.
Okay.
So there's some places that I have in mind, but unless I've actually been there, I can't actually say I would live there. Okay.
I know, I'm really shocked. I moved away to Arizona for a year and then I came back and it was like, I really want to be near a beach. Yeah. But Galveston is not it.
It's not a beach.
Ugh, it's so gross. It is a swamp. I feel like that's really Louisiana. Yeah. And then Cali is so expensive. It's like, oh my God, like you got to like give up a kidney just to be able to live out there. Right. And then you got the East Coast, which I lived in Florida before, and they have beautiful beaches down in Florida.
I wouldn't consider Florida the East Coast. Oh, that's not.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, on the East Coast. Yeah. Okay.
You would consider the East Coast?
Florida's East Coast? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the border of the East Coast.
Okay. I mean, I think that's more south still.
I mean, it's southeast.
Right.
Granted.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I hear East Coast, I'm thinking New York,
New York,
Connecticut, Boston. Yeah.
We know our world map here. You know you're going to have a geography lesson. Okay, so what is your favorite animal?
Dog.
Okay. What kid? Are you allergic to any animals?
To be honest, I'm not allergic to anything that I know of,
Okay.
including food, and I'm very grateful for that. I know my mother told me I was addicted. I mean, not addicted. Codeine is the only thing I can't have. I'm allergic to that.
Oh,
I don't
really?
even know what that is. I think it's a medicine.
It's a medicine.
Yeah,
It's
I've
like
never
a cough
had-
medicine.
Right. That's the only thing I know that I'm allergic to.
I know what I'm allergic. I'm allergic to jerks. Okay. All right. So we got a couple minutes. We're gonna take a break.
Sure.
Put in a couple more questions here. So where was your first job?
Golden Corral.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Was mine Dairy Queen or something? I don't even
Yeah.
remember. I mean, I was mastering making that little
Swirl.
cone.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so were you born bald or hairy? That's a hilarious question.
Hairy.
So what app do you like using the most?
What app? I've never been asked that question before.
Well, you know, Facebook now has a dating element to it.
I heard that.
You
It's
like
probably
online?
it's for me. It's probably going to be Facebook, and it's not because it's Facebook. It's because for me that has been the platform that I've literally grown my business from.
Yeah.
It's also been the platform that's allowed me to have the local awards that I've won. It's also the platform that I've been able to inspire, motivate, and encourage so many individuals, and touch so many people that I had no idea that I was touching.
That is the amazing part. We're going to leave you guys with this before we take a break, and then we're going to come back. That's the amazing part, is you really don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
It's been mind-blowing when I've had people reach out to me and go, you've inspired me for this or that, and I'm just being myself, you know, and I'm just keeping it real. And honestly, sometimes that's not easy. Sometimes it's hard to talk about things that you've been through, you know what I mean? But once you understand that that's your purpose, is to help those kind of people, it becomes easier with time. But you never know who's watching. And you also know that just because sometimes people don't support you on social media, oh, trust me, they're watching.
That's a true story. Oh yeah.
Trust me, they're watching. And as you grow, your name will get in rooms that you have never even stepped foot in before. Yeah. But it really is about who you know, but understanding that your true blessings only come from God, not humans. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to finish talking with Andre Notice. He is our Bachelor of the Week. He has got it going on. And if you ladies want to meet him, call in at 281-587-1540. Or if you're watching this show after the fact, inbox me, DM me, whatever, and I will introduce you after I filter to see if you are somebody he's interested in. And we might just send you on a date. So you guys come back in just a few minutes. You're listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. We'll be right back.
Would you rise up, come and meet me in the sky? Would you trust me when you're jumping from the heights? Would you fall in the name of love? When there's madness, when there's poison in your head, when the sadness leaves you broken in your bed, I will hold you in the depths of your despair. But it's all in the name of love, in the name of love, name of love. Testify, screaming the holy light. You bring me back to life, and it's all in the name of love. I wanna testify, screaming the holy light. You bring me back to life.
Feeling a little edgy lately? Listen to Edge Radio. That'll push you over the top. 1540 AM and 101.7 FM.
Hi, my name is Noah. I just got out of the hospital with some really sick kidneys. Now I could get even more sick if I get COVID-19. My dad, well, he has to go to work. So the more people who are out there, the bigger chance he can bring the coronavirus back to our house. So please help me stay healthy and stay home. Don't go out unless it's really important. Do it for me. Stay home. Flatten the curve.
Has it been too long since you and your partner truly enjoyed each other intimately? Hi, I'm Dr. Viviana Coles, and I believe emotional and physical intimacy go hand in hand. At Houston Relationship Therapy, we help couples and individuals work through the many challenges faced while in relationships. Our experienced and dedicated relationship therapists can help get emotional and physical connection back into your relationship. Call 713-542-2221 or book online at HoustonRelationshipTherapy.com. Schedule your appointment today and rediscover intimacy now at Houston Relationship Therapy.
I'm the boy in your other phone, lighting up inside your drawer at home, all alone, pushing 40 in the friend zone. We talk and then you walk away every day. Oh, you don't think twice about me, and maybe you're right to doubt me, but
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the gentlemen? Live from
you're gonna see me in a new light. Yeah, if you give me just one night to meet you underneath the moonlight. Oh, I wanna take two, I wanna break through, I wanna know the real thing about you, so I can see you in a new light. Take a ride up to Malibu. I just wanna sit and look at you, look at you. What would it matter if your friends knew? Who cares what other people say anyway? Oh, we can go far from here and make a new world together, babe. 'Cause if you give me just one night, you
Ladies and gentlemen, are you
yeah, if you give me just one night to meet you underneath the moonlight. Oh, I wanna take two, I wanna break through, I wanna know the real thing about you, so I can see you in a new light.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only gentleman? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, the professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of Matchmaker.com. It's Millionaire Matchmaker, Amber Neal.
Into the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. I am live in studio today on the live matchmaking day with Andre Notice. He is our Spotlight Single of the Week, our Bachelor of the Week. You guys are listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. If you are watching online, if you're on Facebook, go to the Edge Radio Network Facebook group, like the page, start a watch party, share it. Invite friends to let them know about us, and you can always watch any episode you've seen. You can go back and rewatch it there, or you can go to Edge Radio Network and you can stream us live wherever you're at as well. And today we are talking to Andre about the things. We're just asking him a little bit get to know questions, just kind of fun get to know questions, so the ladies that are watching can know, hey, you know what, I like that guy, I like what he's talking about. So we're gonna jump back into some of the questions that we've been asking you, Andre, and I understand that you may have a poem you're gonna read for us.
Yeah, I'm trying. I had it memorized. Let me see if I can do it from memory.
Okay, all right.
You put me on the spot like this.
With me, you never know. You gotta be.
I know, right? I play with your body. I dwell in your soul. I toy with your mind where your ego I hold. I cause confusion and anger to those who grasp me. One kiss from my lips, and it could be the last you'll see. My ways and yours aren't always in line. I'm seductive in my ways, leaving you in the bind. I feel more than just good, causing more than an erection. I cause passion beyond measure when I'm shown by my affection. Those who aren't careful may mistake me for my brother. I can tear hearts into pieces, unlike any other. I use a physical attraction and cause emotional confusion. What you see is not what you get, the effect of my illusion. If you get caught in my web, it could end in disaster. While you think you're in control, you'll find out I'm the master. I sneak up from behind and grab you right from their heart. Recognize who I am, or I'll tear it apart. Keep me close or push me away. Either way, I'm here to stay. And I'll do whatever I must, so you think of me every day. Am I love or am I lust? Am I lust or am I love? Whichever I am, I'm dangerous to trust.
Woo. Wow. Awesome. You're talented. I think he's got all kinds of hidden talents. Okay. Well, that was awesome. I was totally vibing on that. Let's go back and jump in and get to know you a little bit more. So, what is your favorite physical thing about you?
Height.
How tall are you?
Height and body type. Mm-hmm. Because I'm slim build, you know.
Right.
Yeah. 6'2".
Nice. Okay. I think it is actually one of the things. So the number one thing women look for in a mate is the comedy. Like they want to know their sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
And studies show that if you have the same sense of humor, you're more likely to really last longer. But what about and because women have this thing about height. It's like I want him to be at least 6 foot tall, that sort of thing. Is there anything physically about the ideal woman that would catch your eye? What kind of women do you find drawn to?
So I like what I am.
Okay.
Slimming in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. Yeah, because if you're about that gym life, you need somebody that's also is too.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's mainly what I'm attracted to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Slimming in the gym, short and sweet. I like your answer. Okay, cool. But are there any? Because sometimes our type is what keeps us single. Are you open on that, or is that like that's like because this is where matchmaking really gets in depth is like okay body type, but sometimes our picker is broken and we keep attracting the one thing that is not what we need.
No, I get it. I get that 100%. So for me, it's one of those things to where it's really about how you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And I do understand, like I just said, body type. Everybody's not going to have the same body
right.
type. So of course, there's going to have women who may have a bigger build or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But are they working towards maintaining themselves?
Right.
And is this something that they make a priority?
Right.
Because for me, working out has not become something that I do. It's become a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. It's just like eating healthy.
Right. Exactly.
Are you vegan?
No.
Okay.
So, and that's the reason why I was working out so hard and why I do play basketball so much, because I don't eat the best.
Right.
But for me, I think it's important that even though I don't eat the best, I don't look like I don't eat the best.
You're not just letting yourself go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're trying.
So the biggest, I have an issue with you eating a certain way, but you look like you eat that way. That should not be the case.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. So where was your favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Jamaica, home.
Oh, yeah, I bet so.
Mm-hmm.
We can't really compare those beaches. It's like we're over here talking about Cali. It's like but have you seen Jamaica?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's home.
Are you okay? So we talked about that. How many? Who cares? This is like how many speed tickets? Are you a go foot racer in the car? Are you
Yeah,
like
I'll be on the move,
are you one of those hostile drivers in the car honking at
I'll be on the
everybody?
move.
You be getting road rage?
But I don't have road rage to the point where I'm flicking people off and
Yeah.
stuff like that. No. I've grown.
He's like, I bought a faster car. That's what I did.
That's
okay,
true.
right?
I can get around you if I want to.
It's frustrating. I went from like I had an X5 BMW, then I had a Camaro, and they both would go really fast.
can
And
move.
now I've got my little economy car.
Oh, that's
So
completely
frustrating.
different. That's completely different.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Because when I moved to Arizona, I wanted to get something that was sensible and like brand new. So in case I'm out there by myself. Hey, yeah. I'm so
You
frustrated.
learn the
with
hard
them.
way. Yep.
It's like, does anybody want this car? Because I'm trying to pawn it off on my daughter. I'm like, don't you want this car? I need to get me a faster car. Okay. Have you ever broken any bones?
You know what? I have not. I've come close,
Me too. Not
but
gonna
I
lie.
have not.
Yes.
And I play a lot of basketball. I've come close. I've sprained both ankles a lot of times because I'm
Oh,
flat.
I bet. I mean,
Been
me
on
too. Mm-hmm.
crutches a couple times. Hopped around the house. But I've come close. But no, I haven't broken any bones.
And that's what we were talking about before we got on. So, when you do get sick or something happens, are you the kind of person that you want somebody to take care of you, or are you big baby, or leave me alone? Like, what do you like when you don't feel good?
So I'm a giver.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to receive.
Oh,
So I even have a hard time asking for help, and that's part of
I
the
am the
reason.
same way, honestly.
Yeah, I have a hard time asking. So no, I try to do as much as I will ask for help when it
Yeah.
comes to that point.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to do as much as I can on my own first.
Very independent.
Before I get to that point.
Okay, I got you. So basically, if you're sick and you're not feeling good, and you're like, babe, can you make me some soup? You really need the help.
Yeah, if it gets to that point, because I'll make
Gets
my
to
own
that
soup
point.
first.
Right, exactly. He'd probably homemade and everything
Yeah.
too on top of that.
Mhm.
So what's the one thing apart from you that you would save if your house was on fire?
My wallet. And my phone.
Forget the family albums and the dog. I'm getting my wallet, bro.
I mean, because family albums are digital now. Hopefully you upload
And I'm
those
showing
photos.
my age. But back in the day, which I'm
Yeah.
honestly glad I lived during that generation that did not have social media because
Yeah, exactly.
or cell phones.
Mhm, I remember.
Because there was no evidence.
I remember. I was gonna make a post. I think tomorrow it's actually gonna say how many phone numbers do you still have memorized? Nah.
Yeah, seriously.
Because
Nobody.
back then you
like
had
the
20
kids.
numbers memorized. Now you might have. I worked at T-Mobile for 7 years. You wouldn't believe how many people came in there
Yeah.
and didn't know their own phone number.
Are you serious?
Their own.
Oh my
hold on, let me
God.
check. And they had to pull it up in their phone. They didn't know their own phone
What?
number. Yeah.
The only reason I
Yeah.
know my son's number is because it's one digit off of mine. Like that's it.
Right.
And I've also had my number since 2007, so
Okay.
13 years. So I know mine, and mine's so public. But it's so funny.
Mhm.
I don't know my daughter's number. I know it's like something with an A&M zip area code. Like I'm gonna guess. I know it ain't 972 because I know that's Dallas, but I think it's like 979. That's all I got.
Oh my God.
I really don't know her number. These are like leashes.
I know.
I swear.
We've created
God.
smartphones now, dumb people.
Yes, I'm just so annoyed with this, and it's as if this is not intrusive enough. Let's stick it on our watch.
Right.
Let's.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
leave me alone. I just want to go away. Yeah, but that's one thing I definitely recommend in relationships is unplug from these things, man. When you're on a date, there are millennials that will literally go on a date and literally do like this the whole time that they're sitting in front of each other. One guy and this girl he went out with, he was telling me a story about how they were both so shy that they were literally at dinner together and texting each other. Like, oh my God. But the art
That's
of
true
story. The art of communication is dying. Seriously, like 55% of communication is non-verbal. It's body language and inflection and tone and the way we look. And you're sitting here over a text. Text can be misunderstood.
Oh, yeah.
90% of the things you put in a print form, whether it's email or text, will be interpreted wrong.
That's exactly why they created emojis, because so many people were sending texts and you couldn't
Seriously.
tell. And they help, but it still doesn't give off the same
At least
expression.
punctuate. I mean, God,
Yeah.
at least put a question.
Oh, we
at least
don't
let me
even
know
use
it's a
punctuation
question
anymore.
Are you screaming at me? Are you telling me or are you asking me? Like, I don't know.
Look, I have so many Facebook friends that will, they make posts and they're like, run-on sentences. I have to read it 4 times. Okay, period goes here, comma goes there. That should be in quotation marks. My mother was an English teacher.
Oh,
so it's even harder for me to read things like that. So I don't know, man.
Your mom's in your head like, you got an F. You failed. Okay. Hey, but y'all we're kidding around, but we're like so serious because, on the other side of, I have a PR firm as well. And the other side of PR is, dude, I'm telling you, just that basic little thing like that, not punctuating, not using correct grammar, using all caps, that will make people will judge you. They will look at your resume and they will judge you like, nope. I mean, it's that simple. So punctuation, learn to punctuate. And then I heard they're not even teaching cursive in school anymore.
I heard that too.
How are you supposed to sign anything?
I heard that
like,
too.
Are you just,
Yeah, I guess the only cursive you'll know is your own signature.
That's a special kind of broken, but whatever. Okay, and then the last question on this list is, what is your favorite restaurant?
I don't have one.
You don't have a favorite restaurant?
I don't have
one.
Just Houston has so many.
I know.
We have some. I can't. There's no way.
Houston is the third largest city now, 5 years running, according to the U-Haul Trending Report. We have the best place to live, the best places to eat, the best cost of living, the best schools, the best medical. We have technology. We have the best schools. We have oil and gas. I mean, it's a city of industry, and the only thing is we don't have is a real beach or something beautiful like mountains or palm trees. So aesthetically, it's okay. It's just kind of rural.
Yeah, we're very flat.
Very flat, kind of. You can find some really beautiful lakes and stuff like that. But as far as if you're about that beach life, don't move to Texas because you will be so disappointed.
Right.
You couldn't pay me to stick even a toe in Galveston Beach. No. But okay, so here are some things we're going to go over that a matchmaker will suggest for you to ask yourself when you are interviewing people, for lack of better words. Doesn't dating feel like a job description? I mean, like you're I mean, and have you ever tried like online dating?
It's been a while.
Oh my God, what was your experience with that?
I still have friends to this day that I communicate with and stay in contact with that I met. Nobody that made it to that specific jump to a relationship.
Right. They can't cook, but
but yeah, I do have some friends that I've met from like Tinder or OkCupid, Plenty of Fish,
Plenty of Freaks.
But this has been a long time.
It is Plenty of Freaks.
It's been 6+ years since I.
It's and people have met online. It's not that we're trying to totally bash it. It's just that the most precious commodity we have is time.
It is.
And that's why people go to matchmakers, because you literally, when you add up so let's say out of 100 women you can meet on your own, Andre, you're going to be compatible with 3. 3 out of 100. The average cost of a date, $200, $300, depending on if you're going out to eat, going out to the movie, a real one, And that's another thing millennials don't do anymore. The art of dating is it's like a hookup culture, Netflix and chill. People don't go on real dates as much. But for the older generation, over 35, that usually is still about that life to a degree, or maybe over 40. A real date, think about it. Let's say you go to a nice restaurant. If you have a few drinks, if you go to a dinner, you go to a movie, she wants popcorn. And so if you add all that up, you're spending at least $200.
I guess it just depends on how, because it can. I definitely believe it can.
Yeah.
But for me personally, for a first date, I would do something a lot more simple.
Yeah.
And if she's not down for that, then she's not for me anyway.
Well, and that's what I tell guys to avoid, especially if you're very successful like you are. You want to avoid gold diggers, and so you don't want to start the bar way up here. Like, I'm gonna show up in a limo, and I'm gonna bring you roses, and I'm gonna do all this extra, because then where do you go from there? You got to keep going up. Right,
exactly.
So I think in the beginning, but it's also a lot of women don't like a cheap man, in the sense, not that because they have their own money,
but it's not so much about being
effort.
Right, exactly, and that's what I was going to get to. It's not so much about being cheap; it's about being thoughtful.
Exactly.
And you should know what that person is willing to accept based on your first few conversations.
Exactly.
So a first date for me would be something similar to like going out and listening to live music.
Yeah.
A picnic in the park, a walk in the park, a workout session at the gym, something like that. Something where we're interacting, we're enjoying each other's time. Dinner and a movie to me is just so. I mean, not saying it can't be done, but it's also it's so cliche.
Yeah.
Just do something a bit more different, a little bit more active.
I think it it doesn't really matter what you're doing. I think
I
it's
agree.
really about, you don't want to go to a movie. You don't want to go somewhere you can't talk. You want to be able, so people are nervous, so they feel like, oh, I'll go watch a movie and it won't be so awkward. No, you're just wasting time because now you don't know if you even have the same interests or likes or whatever. Now, once you've been dating for a while, 3 months or less, I highly recommend go to a movie. Go to, if they're even any more open, go to a movie, go to a comedy club, because since sense of humor is so big and the same type of humor is so important, I think that you want to go to a comedy club or watch a funny movie because you want to see how they laugh and what they are into.
What makes them laugh, yeah.
Tells you a lot about their personality. If you're
I
over there
agree.
laughing your butt off and they're kind of like, I don't get it. You're like,
Right.
okay, I'm not.
At the same time, though, you also want to see how that person acts in those environments as well. So that is vital.
The number one thing you want to see is how they act under crisis. In crisis, get locked in the car together. Go on a road trip. Find out what kind of music I know music is like a huge thing that people really can make or break a situation. I've went out with a guy before and he was listening to some other stuff. Even when it was old school stuff, but even when it was popular, I didn't listen to it. So it was like, I feel like I was being especially tortured. It's old and it's like nothing I like. So I think music is very important. What kind of music do you like?
I'm an R&B lover. I love R&B. I'm an R&B baby. That's going to be number one. Neo Soul R&B is number one.
Yeah.
Reggae, gospel.
Yeah.
Those would be my top right
Top
there.
3. Okay, very good. So some of the things that matchmakers will suggest that you ask yourself when you are really considering the right candidates is, number 1, write these things down. These are some tips for you guys at home. Number 1, list 15 reasons why a significant other should date you. The reason you want to do that is because when you go to a matchmaker, the first thing they're going to work on is you're going to have an intake paperwork that's kind of asking questions like we've been talking about today. But then they're going to say, we need to write a bio for you because we need to introduce you to other people. And it's just like we read your bio when you come on air or you do a speaking engagement. People want to know, why should I listen to you? Why should I care? Right? And people are so judgmental so quickly. You listing your 15 things, that you're listing things that will help articulate who you are, because your matchmaker's job is to basically filter, but they're also there to sell you in the sense of, sometimes we blow it. Sometimes we mess up a first date. The matchmaker can come back in and go, hey, you know what? Give it another chance, because that's one of the things we also recommend is also give it like a 2-date rule, that sometimes we mess up on the first date. Sometimes we don't get it right. We're nervous. And sometimes that second chance really is that true first impression, because people get anxious and nervous. So commit to a 2-date rule unless they just say something rude or obnoxious or turns you off and just a blatant, like a hard no. But if you're kind of like, I don't know, and you're kind of on the fence about it, give it another shot. Just check it out. Just a little free tip there. And then number 2 advice that we're going to give you as a matchmaker, things you should ask yourself when you're getting ready to find the right person. And you can apply these things if you are doing online dating. This will help you write even a better profile for yourself. One of the things with online dating that's very frustrating is people don't tend to read everything. People are visceral and visual and want to see like the body, and they don't even read. So take your time, guys. If you are doing online dating, and you see a woman's put effort or a man's put effort into writing a bio, read it, because people that are that anal about what they like, trust me, are not playing. And so you can be the sexiest thing ever, but if number 5 is she works out at the gym and you don't, you're going to miss it. You know what I mean?
You're talking about
why waste your time? I'm not talking about anybody. You know what I mean? This is really interesting too. This will really help you. We're going to talk about toxic relationships in the next hour, but one of the things that will really help you is have a significant other come in and write a 2-paragraph about your strengths and weaknesses, and then have them kind of go over that with you, how they see you, because somebody that is your ex will probably be the most truthful with you about what they perceive as your flaws, Now, we don't get our worth or value from anything external, so you don't want to absorb what people think of you, but just use it as a reference point. Take what applies and throw away the rest. But that way, because you sometimes you can't even see yourself, and have you seen so many beautiful women or even guys that are just amazing. They're beautiful inside and out, but they just don't know it.
Yeah.
And they really don't know it, and they attract these bugaboos and these build-a-bears and bugaboos. I mean, it's just like you attract the wrong person because you don't know your worth.
Yeah.
So it's very important that when you are getting feedback from your ex to take it with a grain of salt. But sometimes they can see beauty in you that you didn't even know was there.
That's true.
And they can help you. And if you're not toxic, there's no reason. You don't have to hate them because of your ex. And if they hurt you, we're not talking about that ex. We're talking about somebody that you just grew apart. You grew apart, or distance or time or interest or whatever happened that you've left on a peaceful level. And don't ever ask anyone for their opinion if you don't respect what they think, right? Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and keep talking about a couple things that we suggest as matchmakers to help you navigate the dating world, because it's really tricky out here. And if you guys want to meet Andre, call into the hotline 281-587-1540. If you're watching this after the fact, inbox me DM and I will hook up an introduction. You guys are listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal, on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. We'll be right back after this.
This is KGBC, Galveston, Houston, 1540 AM, and K269GS, Pasadena, 101.7 FM.
Been feeling a little edgy lately? Listen to Edge Radio. That'll push you over the top. 1540 AM and 101.7 FM.
Our business is helping your business from Galveston to Houston and beyond. 1540 KGBC.
Well, give us a call. 281-744-0446. 281-744-0446.
Never was a quitter, tasted like a raindrop. She's got the look. Heavenly bound, cause heaven's got a number when she's spinning me around. Kissing is a color, her loving is a wild dog. She's got the look. 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 What in the world can make a brown-eyed girl turn blue? When everything I'll ever do, I do for you. And I go la 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 la. She's got the look. Fire in the eyes, naked to the two-bar is a lover's disguise. Banging on the head drum, shaking like a mad bull. She's got the look. Swaying through the band, moving like a hammer. She's a miracle man. Loving is the ocean, kissing is the wet sand. She's got the look. 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 What in the world can make a brown-eyed girl turn blue? When everything I'll ever do, I do for you. And I go la 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 la. look. She's a juvenile scam, never was a quitter, tasting like a raindrop. She's got the look. And she goes, na 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 na. She's got the look. She's got the look. She's got the look. She's got the look. What in the world can make a browner girl turn blue? When everything I'll ever do, I do for you. And I go la 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 la. She's got the look. What in the world can make you so blue? When everything I'll ever do, I do for you. And I go la 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 la. Na 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 na.
We're taking shots in here. You want one?
Cheers to the freaking weekend. Drinks it up, yeah. Oh, let the Gemma sun sink in. Drinks it up, yeah. Don't let the bastards get you down. Turn it around with another round. There's a party at the bar. Everybody put your glasses up and I drink today. Life's too short to be sitting around miserable. And people gon' talk whether you're doing bad or good. Yeah, got a drink on my mind and my mind on my money. Yeah, looking so fine, I'm gonna find me a honey. Got my Ray-Bans on and I'm feeling hella cool tonight. Yeah, everybody's vibing, so don't nobody start a fight. Yeah, cheers to the freaking weekend. Drinks it up, yeah. Oh, let the Gemma sun sink in. Drinks it up, yeah. Don't let the bastards get you down. Turn it around with another round. There's a party at the bar. Everybody put your glasses up and I drink today. I drink today. About to hop on the bar, put it all on my card tonight. Yeah, might be mad in the morning, but you know we're going hard tonight. It's getting coyote ugly up in here, no Tyra. It's only up from here, no downward spiral. Got my Ray-Bans on and I'm feeling hella cool tonight. Yeah, everybody's vibing, so don't nobody start a fight. Yeah, cheers to the freaking weekend. Drinks it up, yeah. Oh, let the Gemma sun sink in. Drinks it up,
When people stop talking.
Business owners, thought leaders, when you're ready to connect with new customers, your radio station has the edge you need to succeed. Call 281-744-0446. For more information, call 281-744-0446.
Walking home and talking low, seeing shows in evening clothes with you, from nervous touch and getting drunk, to staying up and waking up with you. Now we're sleeping at the edge, holding something we don't need. All this delusion in our heads is gonna bring us to our knees. So come on, let it go. Just let it be. Why don't you be you? And now me. Everything that's broke, leave it to the breeze. Why don't you be you? And now me.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the gentlemen? Live from Houston, Texas, it's the go-to girl, the professional comedian, professional producer, and ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the gentlemen? Live from Houston, Texas, it's the go-to girl, the professional comedian, professional producer, and it's Millionaire Matchmaker.
Hey guys, welcome back into the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. You're listening to Edge Radio, 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. I am in studio today with the Bachelor of the Week, Andre Notice.
Hey, glad to be here.
We have been talking about some really good stuff that's going to help all you singles out there that are looking for love. We want to talk about some things that we've been talking about, things you should ask yourself. These are things as a matchmaker we encourage you to ask yourself, whether you're using a matchmaker, you're navigating the horrible online dating world. I mean, it's not that it don't work. It's just that time is your most precious commodity. And if, the average cost of a date is around $200 once you get serious. So think about that. And then you're talking about 97 people you got to filter through. You've already paid for a matchmaker, but now you just don't have the time back. So time is the most precious commodity. It's not that online dating can't work. It's just there's a lot of ghosting and catfishing. You dealt with any of that stuff?
I get so mad when I even hear the word ghosting. I hate it. Oh,
It's so immature. Like, seriously,
It is.
use your words.
It is.
Like, I mean, I don't get it. And catfishing, like, people are gonna find out. I mean, and people will steal your identity, set up a whole account, pretend to be you or somebody else, and then in hope, this is what kills me. Their video's never available. It's just pictures, and then all of a sudden it's like, and then they just think you're. Well, I was thinking you were gonna fall in love with my personality.
They know that's a lie, because if that's the truth, then it wouldn't matter who they look like.
It starts off as a lie.
It starts off with a lie, exactly.
I mean, that's like I tell people, if you're single, let's say that you are one of the couples that's going through the separation through the quarantine right now. So many people will say, I'm single, but they're really separated. And then you start off on that lie. Could you tell them, I'm single? You set up your dating profile like, I'm single. Then at some point, you've got to go, well, by the way, I got something to tell you. I'm really separated. Because 99% of my matchmaking clients do not want to date someone who's separated. Yeah. So I think it's more about it makes me question you. So if you start off telling me a half truth, right? So technically, you're single, but technically you're married, right? There is no legal separation. You're either married or you're not in Texas. So just be honest, you guys. Just be honest. Lead with honesty. Don't send your representative. People are going to find out who you really are. So the last thing we advised before the break was to get an ex to give you some feedback, a couple paragraphs, because sometimes you don't know your worth, you don't know your own beauty, and you don't know your own strengths, right? So it's good to get, and if it's not an ex, let it be a best friend or a family member, someone you trust and respect their opinion. And
somebody that's going to give you the real, and not just going to what you want to hear.
Or not jealous of you, and they don't. They secretly are a hater, and they don't really want you to win, right? Okay, so the next thing that we say that you want to write out. These are things you're writing out. So the first one is write out 15 reasons, in case you missed it. 15 reasons why a significant other should date you. Number 2, write out I am single because. Number 3, have that trusted confidant give you some insight into your strengths and your best traits. And then number 4, I write this out in a sentence. I would be most compatible with a man or woman who blank. Now for you know, slim and trim and in the gym, okay? And do you want to date an entrepreneur?
Definitely.
Is this your dream of being a power couple?
So yes, because if I'm with somebody or considering somebody that is not an entrepreneur, they will not understand me, how I move, my lifestyle. They can't, because there's no reference point. So yes, definitely. Even if she does have even if she is an employee, hopefully she at least has a business on the side, because then she'll understand. Because that's huge.
It is really huge. We talked about this on our last Funny Friday. We had Koo, Genty, and Adam Bob in the studio. We were talking about, should entertainers date entertainers, or should you date just a non-entertainer? And it goes the same thing with entrepreneurs, because you work 80 hours a week as an entrepreneur, so you don't have to work 40 for someone else.
Man.
So if time, in the 5 love languages, if quality time is your number 1 love language, you might not want to date an entrepreneur. I'm just saying. But on the reverse side of that, if an entrepreneur is giving you time, then that is the way that they show love, because as an entrepreneur, time is money.
It is. And at the same time, it's good to know that even though they may not have as much time, they still make time for you, because we all make time for what we want to make time for.
Oh, say it again. You know, speaking of time and ghosting and crazy, horrible communication, you know, I don't know about you guys, but my phone's right here. His phone's right there. She probably has her phone. The reality of it is, when people, I live by 2 rules, Andre. Number 1, people do what they want to do, and people do what you let them. Yeah. So if somebody's not texting you back, they don't want to. Oh, I was busy. Oh, I was asleep. Okay, for 24 hours. I mean, at the end of the day, people do what they want to do. I guarantee you, if I had $1 million scratch-off ticket and I said, come down here and get it, oh, you would be here.
Exactly. 100%.
Oh, I can answer my phone now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
so just don't trust words as much as you trust actions.
Yeah.
Yes.
True story.
Words will lie and actions will never fail. Okay, so number 4 was I am the most compatible with a man or woman who does whatever. Number 5, you can contact me if you would like to get some date coaching, testing. There's tests you can take to kind of find out like personality traits.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes especially after a long marriage or a long relationship, you don't even know what your favorite color is. It's like, is red really my favorite color? Was it his? I don't know. Because when you've been a we for so long, it's like, what do I like? So if you need some help articulating that, reach out to your matchmaker, date coach. That's what we're here for, is to help you articulate how to package and sell yourself as the commodity in the relationship. Number 6, complete the line. Of course, this would happen to me. Detail an anecdote that is unique to you. Like, it's no wonder I won the lottery. You know, I always win things. Or, I always get a flat tire. I always hit a pothole. Like, whatever. That's energy. So you want to kind of see, like, how people think. If they're glass half full, glass half empty. If they look at it positive. So you want to write that out. What is your truth? Like, how do you view the world?
Yeah.
Half full, half empty. And so there's a lot of other things that we can give you on tips with that. So let me go over here to the other things that we have here. So the first thing, we're going to give you 7 tips that will kind of help you navigate the dating world. And then we've been talking about energy, because energy is the number one thing.
Yeah, I agree.
In matchmaking, we have clients that are treble, and we have clients that are bass. Treble, relating to music, treble is your high energy planners, doers, goers, movers, shakers, da-da-da. Bass is more the chill, analytical, observe, sit back in the cut, watch, not get too excited. Really just a very logical, this kind of brain. So you're thinking we're opposites, we might not attract. Now, the reality of it is that opposites do attract. It's just, do they stay together? The question revolves around, what are your common interests? Common interests are so important, because let's say, for example, I'll use myself for example. If I met somebody who loved to play softball 5 days a week. Me personally, I'm not into sports at all. Couldn't care less. Never played. I watch football because it's a Texas birthright. Friday Night Lights, I'm there. But outside of that, and the men are really cute in those sexy tights. But outside of that, I don't know anything about sports, right? So when it came time to deal with that, 5 years later, I'm looking at this guy like, dude, can we do something else? Like, all we ever do is go out to the park for him to play. Right. And he's like, you knew that when you met me. And I'm like, you're right. So be true to yourself. That's one lesson I learned when I was young. It was like, I was so busy trying to be supportive and the good girlfriend and all that stuff back then, that I wasn't true to myself in the fact that I didn't even like sports. You know what I mean? Like, so you got to be honest with what you really like, because 5 years later, I'm trying to go do something else for fun. And he's sitting there like, well, you knew this about me. So I cannot stress to you how important, not all the common interests, right, but enough to keep you grounded to where if he's like, I'm going to go watch the game, and you're like, I don't want to do that, I'm going over here, and you're always doing separate things, that can potentially, it could be good. Some people are very independent and they like more autonomy than they like togetherness, It depends on, but you got to talk about it, is my point. Talk about it.
Should be a give and take. It shouldn't be all give. And if you're constantly doing what they want to do, then you're constantly giving.
Exactly.
And you're going to run yourself dry.
But as givers, we tend to attract takers, so we have to be super careful with that.
Self-awareness.
But pay attention to energy, guys, because it's, it basically will just make sure the differences are not too extreme, right? All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, look for someone who is emotionally like-minded. When it comes to emotional tendencies, people with conflicting styles can overcome that, but you've got to really have the emotional maturity to really think like you do. Someone who's like-minded emotionally. You're a giver. You have a heart for giving back and philanthropy and helping others. And if you're like, hey babe, let's get up and let's go feed the homeless Saturday. And she's like, no man, I want to go wash my car and go shopping. You see what I'm saying? Emotionally like-minded. That is self-absorbed, and you're selfless. And so you want to have somebody that has the same emotions, that's triggered by the same emotional pulling on your heart to be of service or to give if that's what you're into. If somebody like you who's a total giver and giving back and helping lead the next generation, you attract somebody who's emotionally self-absorbed and all they care about is themselves,
right,
it will not work, right? Number 3, don't dive in too fast. We talked about this at the beginning of the hour. Love and lust look a lot alike, but get to know them. Form a friendship. Find out how they handle stress. Find out what their family is like, especially if you're going to have kids with them. Get some references. Talk to their friends. Talk to people that have known them for years. If they don't have any kind of lifelong friends, that's kind of a red flag to me. Like you don't have any friends from back in the day. Like nobody. Like
constant
nobody.
Rotation.
And your mama won't talk to you either. Okay, that's a bouquet of red flags, as I call it. But just don't dive in too fast, because I think it's normal to ditch our normal routine and just jump into it. But I think if you will benefit in the end, because a relationship built on quicksand will not last. If you want to build a solid foundation, which is what you will need to sustain through all these kind of things we go through in life, it's hard out here. And I think you want to have that solid foundation of friendship as well as common interests. If you have those 2 things as your basic things, you have a lot to build on. The third thing for me is definitely spirituality. I think that there has to be that we're held accountable to a higher power other than just ourselves, right? Okay, so just don't dive in too fast. The next thing is, we talked about this earlier, the 2-date rule. Just, give somebody the second chance. We blow it sometimes. We don't make good impressions. We get rushed. We get busy. Just don't be one of those people. Don't blow it by doing stupid things like sitting here on your phone the whole time and, oh yeah, we're on a date. Don't, you know what I mean? Give attention to the persons in front of you and not just sit here and be obsessed with our social media.
What's interesting about that is
annoying.
I know a few people that actually are married now, happily married now, but initially she didn't even give him a chance at first. Didn't consider him, wasn't looking at him like that kind of way. Yeah. I know a few people like that, a few marriages like that, and now they're happily married because she finally opened her heart, gave him a chance.
Absolutely.
They proceeded. So yeah, you're 100%
Well,
accurate.
you kind of lead me to another point. Ladies, stop throwing yourselves at men. If he ain't calling you, if he ain't making an effort, if he's not taking you on proper dates, and the only time he's available is at 2 a.m. or after midnight or last minute, or you want to hook up or whatever, he's not really into you. And I think that people do what they want to do. And I think it's like you said, it's just take time, because I'm going to tell you why your friend stuck in there and pursued her. Is because she appealed to a man's basic blueprint. Men need to be needed and appreciated. Women need to be wanted. But men are hunters. Trust and believe. You never see a deer lay down in front of a lion. Men are hunters, and they like the chase. It's the thrill of the chase. And by her, the more she ran, the more he loved it deep down, because she made him work. And that's why they're married, because she knew her worth and she made him put in work to get it.
Yeah.
Trust and believe. Women's love is great, but the other side of that is you have to understand that if you want to be married, there's a little bit different rules that are going to apply in your behavior and how you treat a man, because men want you to make them work for it, even if they don't know it, but that is their blueprint, of their hardwired to hunt.
Now, I agree with you 100%, but I will make a side note.
Okay.
Notice she said men, not boys.
Don't even get me started on
that.
that.
There's a difference between a man and a boy.
And I'm seriously going to have a shirt, Andre, that says no more build-a-boos, because if a man is not, so many men will not even consider starting a relationship until they're financially stable and because if you look at just biblical principles, if you take Boaz, for example, Boaz was established. He had his own thing going. So it really depends. That's why you got to talk about religion and your beliefs. Because if you're a Christian or a spiritual person and you're looking like a man should be this, this, and this, then when you see he isn't, stop thinking you're going to change him or build him or make him into that thing. What you see is what you get. The frontal lobe is fully formed. He ain't changing. Get over it, right?
I think the spiritual part is the first part, mainly because it's the foundation.
It is
It's going to be where everything else stems from.
Yes.
So if you don't have that foundation, but or whatever because everybody has a foundation. The question is, what is it?
Exactly.
So if my foundation is completely different from your foundation, then we're not gonna align to some degree. So I believe that you should find that foundation first.
That's why it's important to just slow down, talk, find out what are they about, what's between their ears. It's not a space holder. Okay. The next tip that we give as matchmakers is to listen to your instincts. I heard my preacher once say that your instinct is God's voice telling you what's right and wrong. And the first voice is your instinct. The second voice is the lie or the doubt or the trickery, in your mind, how you can play yourself. And I think it's very important. How many times did your instinct tell you? And it's not just about dating. This applies to business and any kind of relationship you have. Listen to your gut. Have you ever gone against your gut?
I guess that's the reason why you said I should have went with my first mind.
Your first mind. That's it. That's right. The first thought. That's your gut. That's your That's your.
It brings me back to a visual analogy. I remember growing up, I'd always watch Tom and Jerry. Hell, I still watch Tom and Jerry. And I remember he's getting ready to make a decision. Oh yeah. And he'd have like a depiction of an angel on one side and then a depiction of the devil on the other side. And that's how life is. And your first mind is usually going to be that angel.
That's
trying
right.
to tell you the right way that you should go. So
that's right.
Follow that first mind.
Great advice. Enough said on that. Okay, so then I think we have a couple minutes here before we have to go into a break. So we're going to wrap these up pretty quickly. Don't work too hard. At the end of the day, we're going to work real hard for a period of time with a goal in mind. But again, back to the virus, I think this time has allowed us to shift and see that, yes, money is great. God, if you go to God for those things, He will cause those miracles to happen and save you years of you hustling. You can't hustle harder than God can give you favor. So it's really about aligning yourself spiritually when you are working, that you do make time for the things that matter. Because I promise you one thing, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking about the car you drove, the house you lived in. You're going to be thinking about who you loved, who you were with, your experiences, where you traveled, what you see, and the human experience. It is a marathon. You know what I mean? So it's just really stay true to yourself and find that balance to where you're working, but you're not giving up the things that really matter.
I remind my friends all the time, man, work to live, don't live to work.
Exactly. We're going to take a quick break, you guys. We will be back in a couple minutes. You guys are listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. We will be right back.
Business owners, thought leaders, when you're ready to connect with new customers, your radio station has the edge you need to succeed. Call 281-744-0446. For more information, call 281-744-0446.
Hi, Grammar. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one-on-one show? Live from Houston, Texas, it's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and down-to-earth.com. It's Millionaire Matchmaker,
Hey guys, welcome back into the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. You are listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It is your girl, Millionaire Matchmaker. We are talking today to Andre Notice. He is our Bachelor of the Week. Welcome back into the show, Andre.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. I can't believe the time's just gone by so fast. So we've talked about a whole bunch of things. Instead, I was going to talk about toxic relationships, but let's talk about something more positive. Let's talk about things that a man, this is just some matchmaker advice to Andre and all you fellas out there. These are things that I feel as a matchmaker, I feel like you should look for in your potential wife. When you're looking for your wife, it's a little bit different when you're then looking for casual dating and things like that. But the number one thing as a man you should look for in a potential wife is a woman who respects you. Because without this, you will not feel loved and you'll suffer unnecessarily. That is probably one of the biggest things, complaints from married men that you hear is the ball and chain or the nagging. Even the Bible says a nagging wife will, drive a man to the corner of the rooftop. So it's very important you understand that you, as a man, you need to make sure you're finding a woman that, number one, respects you. Because otherwise she will tear you down, tear you apart, and you will not feel loved. You will not feel supported. And as an entrepreneur, it is so important for anyone to understand that having the wrong partner in your life, I believe even Warren Buffett said the number one thing that you can do in your adult life is pick your partner because it will 100% affect your success in life.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, and I would also say that when you talk about respect, you have to find out a reference point to respect because everybody's point of view of what respect is could be a little bit different.
Right.
And you definitely don't want to link up with an individual whose perception of respect is not what it should be.
Yeah.
So that matters as well. But yes, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, a lot of people, because toxic people tend to fight the person instead of the problem.
Exactly.
And it's a bunch of name calling and it's disrespectful. If you're dating and someone calls you out of your name, dude, I'm telling you, that is a red flag. If they will do that when you're dating, imagine once they feel like they got it sewed up and they're married.
Yeah.
So just be careful. Fellas, find number one, find a woman that you feel in your perception of respect that you feel respected.
You want to find somebody that's careful with their words. That's tactful. We live in a society right now where I hate to say it, people are so sensitive.
Oh, you can't say nothing hardly.
Yeah, you can't. And people are so quick to judge, to lash back, to say things without speaking or say things without thinking.
Yeah.
And if you find somebody that's patient enough to think before they speak and say things in such a way to where it can be understood and heartfelt, then to me, that's a rare catch and a rare find, something you should pay attention to.
Absolutely. You guys, he's telling you the secrets to his heart, so I hope you're paying attention. Number 2, guys, make sure that you find a woman who is both sensual and sexual. Because you don't want to marry a woman who is frigid or cold and expect to have a healthy sex life. Seriously. I mean, you got to be, a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. You know what I mean? Seriously. And I tell people all the time, spice it up. Go to the adult bookstore. Go find some toys. Go find some sexy outfits. When you're married, go spice it up. Go find somebody. Your bed is sacred. You can do whatever you want to do in your marriage bed, okay? Nobody, and don't tell people because it's nobody's business. But you want to find somebody who is sensual and can keep your mind turned on, and somebody who is also sexual, because then it's not fair to men, ladies, if you come in, you start out, you're heavily sexual in the beginning, and then you get comfortable and you just cut that off, and he better not cheat.
That's the problem.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Is relationship fraud, and I do not condone that.
Yeah.
Just like it is, if Andre, he likes some slim trimming in the gym, if you meet him that way, and then let's say y'all have a kid, and then you just let yourself go, Andre's not going to be happy. Okay, he's going to be back at the gym.
I'm going to tell you though, that's one of
that happened to you?
That's one of it hasn't happened to me. Okay. That's one of man's greatest fears, though.
It really is.
It really is.
I'm telling like all the time, like ladies, don't get married and then put on your sensible mom jeans. Okay, it looks like Sears threw up in your closet.
Yeah.
The ladies that I'm telling you, I can spot the ladies that are in a happy marriage and the ones that aren't. One of my good friends, Nicole, she is so, y'all see her on Natural Nation. She She's married and she still has her sexy outfit. She still works out. She still wears her, heels. And I'm not talking about the square block heels that we wear that are sensible, the heels, But whatever she did in the beginning is what she's continuing through. And I just think that no matter how you change it, it could be even something little as how you treat them.
How you get them is how you keep them.
And that's right. And how you lose them. So don't think that just because, everybody's all about the side piece and the side person or whatever. Okay, that's cool that's the culture now, which is not, because what you're going to find out the hard way is that you might get upgraded to number one when you're a number two, but trust and believe there's still going to be a number two.
Yeah, the table's going to turn.
It's going to turn. It always does. Yeah. Karma is a big old angry biatch. Okay, so we're going to go through that. Number 3, fellas, you want to definitely find a lady who is someone whose morals and values mirror or complement your own. Her values will greatly influence your life, mold your sons, and be molded by your daughters. Choose wisely. I tell my son that. He's 21. He's not even close to having kids. Thank you, Jesus. But I do tell him when he's looking for women that he's interested in, I'm like, don't just look with your eyes, look with your soul, look with your spirit, because that is going to be the mother of your children one day. Is that what do you want? First of all, do you want to deal with her the rest of your life? Trust and believe. These baby mama, baby daddy situations, you don't want to deal with that. If you can stay together, it's better for the kids. But more than that, the headache of dealing with someone 18 years or longer that you have a kid with and that you're not compatible with, that's a special kind of hell in its own, right? So don't just think of yourself. If you really do want to have kids, look at this woman as the mother of your children and what she believes and what her family believes and thinks, because they're going to be molding your kids just as much as you will. Okay, the next one is you want to try to find a woman, fellas, that has a personality you can get along with forever. Someone you can talk to, have wonderful conversations with, communicate on a very deep level. Now, I mean, as a millionaire matchmaker, I can tell you ladies one thing. The guys that are super into its own, they literally could care less what you believe, what you think. It's literally just about how you look. Nothing. I mean, when I say nothing, you're talking about these guys just want a trophy.
That's a trophy.
Shut up, don't say nothing, do whatever. So you can play yourself with that kind of relationship if you want and benefit financially for a short time. But what women don't understand about the dating game is that when you're in your 20s and 30s, it's in your benefit as women. But as soon as you hit 40 and over, it becomes the man's favor, okay? And so men date younger anyway. So you just want to make sure that you are being true to yourself, and because understand that these rich guys that only care about your looks will, just like a car, will upgrade you and trade you in for a better, younger model if it's even 10 years. So just don't play yourself, because what will happen is you're at 40, you're looking ridiculous, trying to look like a 20-year-old and compete with them because you can't. So be true to yourself. If you really want love, find somebody that you can have deep, meaningful conversations with.
Yeah, I think for me that really begins with starting off as a friendship, which is things that we don't talk about too much. Everybody want to go straight into the relationship.
Exactly.
But I think the most beautiful relationships start off as a friendship. I'm saying to the point where you didn't even view that person as somebody that you were going to be with.
You would never.
It slowly matured into that over time.
That grew on you.
And I think that's the most beautiful relationship.
Because that's what you're really, when you think of the word falling in love.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean? Like, right. What exactly is happening here? And that is the friendship allows you to truly fall in love with who they are as a person. Exactly. The looks, the money, the fame, the careers, all that can be gone. Look at the pandemic. I mean, a lot of people have lost their shirt. You know what I mean? And that's why couples are fighting, because money is like the number one thing people fight over anyway, outside of cheating. So you got to have something solid if you want it to stick. Yeah. So I think somebody you can have those deep, wonderful, meaningful conversations. That's your best friend. And you want to have somebody, especially if you are an entrepreneur and you have a dream of being a power couple and being entrepreneurs together, you have to have a trust that is unbreakable, because there's a lot of negative just miserable people in the world that will try to break you up, will try to come between you, will try to sabotage. If you guys are not strong, you can easily be destroyed. So that's why it's important that you're married to your best friend and that you can totally trust. Now, number 5, we talked about sense of humor, but number 5, I always go back to this because it's so important. Somebody you can laugh with. Like, laughter is good for the soul, and having the same sense of humor is so important. But especially during difficult times, you're going to need a sense of humor. You're going to have to laugh to get through it. It's one of those things that you laugh not to cry, but you have to, in order to weather the storms of life, you got to have somebody that you can just be silly, make fun, just escape from the world sometimes. And I think what makes it intimate is when you guys are on a date or you're out and you can be at anywhere and you just see each other and you see something and you just kind of look at each other and you just know. And you're laughing, and then you get in the car. Did you see that? Yeah.
But you're right when you talk about having the same sense of humor, because there's different kinds of humor. Like for me, I know I'm gonna get blasted for saying this, but I'm sorry. Dave Chappelle does not make me laugh.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
And that's okay. Yeah. That's for me. But if I'm with somebody and Dave Chappelle makes her laugh, and we sit down and watch Dave Chappelle, she's laughing, I'm not. That's
because then you're bored. It's
right, exactly. So having somebody laugh at the same things that you laugh at is extremely important.
Yeah, I just think it helps you with your own little inside jokes a little bit more. Okay, so number 6, fellas, you want to attract a woman who is someone who handles conflict well. Because it is amazing how many couples literally go from it's a discussion to it's like boom and it's a fight, and it's like there's not that middle ground in between where we can actually talk, because the truth is we all have those angry moments. Right. We all, pulling away and silent treatment and refusing to discuss ideas or shutting down, holding grudges. Rehearsing petty grievances repeatedly can prove lethal to your bond over time. There's a saying, you're only as sick as your secrets. So things that you're harboring and keeping in you will physically manifest sometimes in the form of sickness, And I think it's just important that if you're playing those games, like, how do you think doing a silent treatment will actually make it work out? Like, nobody's talking, right? You're holding the grudge. I feel like, and then if you let's say they do something to hurt you and you go do it right back to be vengeful and spiteful, you're literally becoming the thing that you hate the most, and that will infect you and make you bitter. So it's very important that you find somebody who handles conflict resolution well. Yeah. Number 7, this is something that you hear women saying, but I think that ladies, you need to understand that men need to feel the same way. Fellas, definitely try to find someone that you feel safe with. A lot of guys don't even think of it like that, but the reality of it is, can you trust her with your heart?
Yeah, it's a different kind of safe. It's one of those things to where one of the most important things about being able to be in a relationship is being able to be vulnerable.
Oh, well, you took the words out of my mouth.
And that's something that takes time, especially for men.
Yeah.
We do not, because it's ego.
You're hardwired to have it all together and be
it's all about
I'm
ego.
A man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if a man doesn't feel like he can be vulnerable with you, you are not the one.
You're not the one. It is so true. I'm telling you guys, because there's transparent. You want to be authentic and genuine, but to really connect, when you can be vulnerable with someone, that is a relationship that will probably last a lifetime. What you don't want to do, though, is let a man be vulnerable with you, and then you take everything that he said and told you at his vulnerable state and throw it in his face and make it demasculate him with it.
You're done at that point. You're
done. He will never open up again. He will never trust you again. Too often, many men marry these kind of women that they can't trust with their heart because her body satisfied their flesh. So it's very important, back to the beginning, the only way you're going to have that vulnerability is the friendship, Number 8, so fellas, find someone who supports and encourages your dream, vision, and purpose. To ignore this is to risk losing your purpose, to keep your marriage, or leaving your marriage to accomplish your purpose. Yes, it is that serious.
Helpmate.
Helpmate. That's right.
That's it.
It's very, and that goes back to why you got to talk about your beliefs, because everything breaks down to, when you hear the word deal breaker, what, for you, Andre, what would you say would be deal breakers? Would it be someone who's doesn't have God in their life? Because I think spirituality is your number one.
That's one.
Okay.
Lack of communication is number two. You know, those things for me, and it's not even a question if I would even consider.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lifestyle to where you at least care about your health, not just interior but exterior, both of them, that's another one as well. So yeah, there's definitely deal breakers. Yeah,
it's really important, because there is a hidden cost of toxic people and toxic relationships. It's just, you've got to slow down and find out who people really are, because it's inevitable for anyone forcing. Sometimes the wrong person can give you crippling anxiety. Mm-hmm. You're over here trying to work and they're stressing you out, and it's going back and forth. A man with a vision needs a woman with a purpose, and her purpose is to be your helpmate, and that is to help you. And those are those things, because a woman can look beautiful for a time, but what does her heart say? What is her soul like? Is she going to have your back? Mm-hmm. Is she somebody you can be vulnerable with? Is she somebody that you can depend on? And I think it's inevitable for anyone that's forced to habitually walk on eggshells. That is a toxic person. That's a toxic relationship. You should not feel like you have to walk on eggshells to come talk to your man or your woman about things that are going on.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Don't you think? And then also, fragile motivation and staying in power. All the fighting that is required to stay afloat leaves you exhausted when you're dealing with toxic people. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
It's an energy drain.
It is an energy vampire. That's what my daughter calls them. She's like, these people are energy vampires. They literally suck the life out of you. Yeah. And I personally have had that situation happen to me, where God has told me, you have to, if you don't leave this situation, you're going to miss your calling. Because you can be so busy trying to help someone get over their own past. And that's why the self-love journey it's an individual thing. It is a very necessary thing, because until you heal whatever in you is toxic or hurt or wounded, you're going to keep attracting these people externally, thinking that you're fixing them when you're really just trying to fix yourself.
So God gave me this quote a couple months ago, and it said, pray you don't permit people to pull you from your purpose.
Wow.
I'm going to say that again.
I love that.
Pray you don't permit people to pull you from your purpose.
Amen.
And sometimes it's not even people. Sometimes it's your job.
It is.
You really have to be careful as to what you're allowing into your space and for how long. Because what you do, your profession and people can pull you from your purpose.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, you have to protect your mind. And just because you've always done it that way, or we grew up together, or that's just the way it is, that kind of thinking will keep you stuck and not allow you to elevate to the next level, because it's okay to outgrow your friends and outgrow people and move on to someone who is more equally yoked, right? A couple more things here, and then we're going to hear a little bit about your story and what you're working on and things like that before we get out of here. But we definitely, you don't want to be in these situations where you're constantly in dread and constantly in anxiety, or someone who's constantly fault finding. It's never good enough. You're never going to please them. They're never happy. Unhappiness and depression. You guys, in 2020, we take mental health very seriously here at the show, and we want to encourage you, if you're dealing with depression and you're dealing with anxiety, you're dealing with those kind of things, go get help. We're not living in the 1500s where we have no options here. Like, this is 2020. Go get help. And if you are in a relationship, do it for yourself, but do it for the sake of your relationship and your marriage too, because it's not fair if you are suffering from something that you can get help with that is causing an impact on your relationship. You have to love that person just as much as you love yourself, because you are a we. You're no longer an I. So whatever you do affects both of you.
Agreed.
And the last thing is people that have a reluctance to trust people. Like they won't trust you. They don't trust their friends. They don't trust God. They don't trust anything or anyone at any time. Oh, like, ugh, skip it. You'll save yourself a lot of heartache. Okay, so I think we've given a lot of information today as far as like when you're single and what to attract and what to look for. But let's talk about you, Andre. Let's talk about your story a little bit. So, rags to riches. Let's hear it.
I mean, that's like put me on blast. How do I answer that?
Right?
What do you want to hear exactly?
Well, I know that you're very open. You do a lot of motivational speaking. You do TV and radio appearances, and you talk about how you went from homelessness to home ownership. And you have a passion to help people do the same thing.
Correct. So for me personally, about 5 years ago, I was actually homeless, and I was homeless for about 3 years.
Okay.
I was evicted of my apartment 2012, I want to say. 2012, 2013. And I went from my apartment to a hotel, from a hotel to a friend's house, from a friend's house to another friend's house, 3 times over. And then I moved in with my father. And I was sleeping on his couch. I told him I'd be there about, I think I said, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was there almost 6 months. And then I was still doing real estate full time. And I knew that it was something that I was going through, that I was supposed to go through. Because no matter what I did, I couldn't get a deal to close.
Wow.
And I would have things come up that I had no control over, that like crazy things.
Right.
Like for one of my closest friends, he had a house with his brother. He wanted to use me to help sell it. And his brother, even though he knew me, wouldn't.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, it was crazy. He wanted to go with somebody else that he didn't even know.
Wow.
And I had another person, we were about to close, and last minute they decided they were going to use that money and jump into a business. I had another person who told me she didn't have a realtor. She asked me to show her a $500,000 house, and I got there and found out she did have a realtor. So it was like just things
back to back.
Yeah. And I felt like I was going through something that I just had to go through.
It's called a process.
It is. But
people want to avoid it, but I'm telling you, if you just let God mold you in the fire, man, there is a purpose for it.
You have to go through it.
Oof,
life is going to ask
easy.
you, if you say you want to be successful, life is going to ask you how bad do you really want it.
It's funny you say that. The very first time that I did comedy, I was so nervous. I did an open mic, and I immediately went to the Improv Fresh Faces of Comedy the second time I ever performed. I was so scared. I had a 3-minute window to do, and I don't drink. I don't like alcohol. Every now and then I have some foo-foo. I call it a foo-foo drink, but I don't really like it. So I didn't have anything to drink. I was totally sober as the day I was born, nervous. And I remember my legs were shaking so bad. I was so scared. And they called my name. And and you have to walk up the stairs to get on the stage, and I face planted right on the stairs. Boom! I mean, my legs literally buckled out from underneath me and gave out, and I heard God say, "How bad do you want it?"
Oh, really? He said that?
Literally, how bad do you want it? And I was like, wow. And so I just got up and acted like I had one too many, but played it off, and I did great. And then I got booked for a TV appearance after that. But back up to that, I auditioned for Lakewood Choir a couple of years before that happened. And I was so nervous. People don't really realize I'm really very introverted and kind of a little shy at first. But it's so funny. I went into audition, and this guy that I was totally not attracted to was there. And I was like, okay, this is going to be easy. It's this old man. It's cool. I can do this. And it was a cappella. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, oh no, you're not auditioning for me. You're auditioning for that guy. And in walks in Denzel Washington's twin. And I was just like, are you serious? Like somebody I'm attracted to? Like I have to audition for him. I have to sing for him. And as artists, we're sensitive about that. Yeah. That was literally the first time I heard God say, "How bad do you want it?" So then when I fell down, how bad do you want it? And that has literally been the theme of my whole life in the last 10 years. I've been doing comedy 10 years now. And it's always been, how bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? Yeah.
But here's the trick of it. it's not at the cost of betraying your spirituality to get it.
Not at all. Of course not.
I mean, I've had $1 million deals being offered to me if I would be willing to trade off what I believe in. But I can't. You can't, because God will add it to you and it'll be bigger and better than you ever dreamed. Mm-hmm. So once you went from that place that no deal was closing, what happened next?
So again, I was sleeping on my dad's couch. I was there about 6 months. About a couple weeks before my 30th birthday, he gave me a subpoena that I'd have to move out.
Wow.
And I wasn't mad. Yeah. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't disappointed. I understood.
Yeah.
But I knew, like in my mind, I knew that it was a part of the process.
Yeah.
And I knew it so strongly that I kept the subpoena, and I still have it.
I love it.
I kept it.
I kept many things too.
And because I just knew it. I said, I'm going to be able to speak on stages someday and talk about this moment that I'm going through right now. I just knew it. Mm-hmm. So I packed up all my belongings, which wasn't a whole lot, of course. And I put them in my car. And for the next 3 months, I sold homes from my car, and I had no home to go to of my own.
Wow.
So it's true that sometimes God will put you in a position to where nobody can help you but Him.
And that is the point. That is exactly it. Because if you think that you do it yourself, then you'll never understand how much you need God. And sometimes you've got to get to a position that only miracles can happen. That way, not only you, but everybody else around you can also know it was God. All right, guys. Well, we're coming to the end of our show. I mean, this has been so amazing, but now you're a homeowner. You just got a Tesla. You're about to get your Porsche. So let God work, because I'm sure when you got that subpoena, I've gone through the same thing where I keep things because I just know this is a process, and I know that God, I'm going to use that as part of my testimony. Yeah. So go to God to get it, and you're going to keep it. That's the lesson for today.
That's it.
But you can't build a relationship with everyone you've forgiven. This is our last tip. Just because you're at peace doesn't mean they're not still toxic. So like attracts like. So you guys, how do people get in touch with you, Andre?
Google me, Andre Notice.
Andre Notice. You will notice him.
There it is. You will notice me. There it is.
Well, we notice you here at the show. We think you're great, and we're happy to have you as our Bachelor of the Week. So for more information about him, reach out to me, and we'll hook you up. You guys have been listening to the Matchmaker Hotline here on Edge Radio. Thanks to Maridate.com for providing free travel to our guests today.
Hey.
For more information about that, go to Maridate.com, AmberNeal.com, and we'll see you next time at the Matchmaker Hotline.
Hey, guys.
Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes, but it's the only thing that I know. When it gets hard,